Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Live with Bob Mistrovich. I'm Bob Mistrovich, and I got my hair done. Ooh, look at this. Camera 3, zoom in on my hair. Oh, Lord. Today, sadly, a little bit of bad news. There's no such thing as terrible news. Bad news, sadly, we cannot, designate an interview with 90GQ29. I think that's his name. But no matter, for we got Liodite. We got President Liodite on the phone from live from the U.R.M. So we're gonna take it over to a new segment of our show, phone time, talk time. We don't have a name for it yet, but it's gonna be really fun. And today our guest is Liodite, so let's get him on the phone. All right, let's get started.
Bobby,
Hello,
Bob, how
Mr.
you doing?
Mr. President. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Everyone, please give a round of applause to our current president of the United Republic of Man, Liodite.
What
Oh,
can I say?
okay. Well, as you know, the viewers don't know this, but I'm gonna give you guys the rundown. I All we do is just we talk and we discuss. Now, sadly, we have not been able to be joined by the current leader of the Revolutionary Computer Union, but that's all right. So, starting off, President Liodite, do you mind stating your name and your party?
Well, I think you just said it, but also, my party. I'm a big advocate of the Pro Party, and
Yes,
it's something I
yes.
started. Yeah, yeah.
Tell us a bit about this party.
So the Pro Party, the whole thing we started on is we took a good look at the political climate, and we said, oh, hey, this is kind of stupid. Why do we have, the horse party and the bird party, and they're constantly infighting with each other, and they're like, they're kind of at each other's throats, if you
So
will,
you
you know?
advocated for more creativity inside the current states, is that correct?
Not creativity so much as saying like
Freedom, I mean.
why do citizens have to pick between
Mhm.
this, like why do they have to pick the better of two evils essentially, you know?
True.
Why left or right?
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. That's a good answer. Now, some of these questions are a bit dated, so this one's obvious. How do you feel about now being the president of the United Republic of Man? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's been incredible. I think we've been making a lot of good changes, and I think the difference between me and my predecessors is that I feel like a lot of the previous presidents, and I know some were really good. I like some of them, but
Mhm.
some of the previous presidents, they were so focused on bringing up their public image and making themselves look good in the limelight.
Mhm.
And the difference between me and these other people is that instead of that, I'm working behind the scenes. Like I'm really trying to make a change in URM instead of just trying to show people I'm making a
Okay.
change. There's a very clear difference there.
All right. So if I may ask, you are willing to put your public image on the line for the good of the current country, is that correct?
I'd say so because it's one of those
Mhm.
things where the public is going to have a unfavorable opinion of me for a while.
Mhm.
They're going to be like, "Oh, this guy sucks. He's terrible."
Oh, yeah.
However, I think over time they'll see that these changes that I'm trying to make are going to help them in the long run, and maybe, hopefully, they'll have the insight to look back, to have the retrospective to look back and be like, "Yo, this guy was actually trying to help us. He wasn't the bad guy in this story."
Okay. Okay. Now, we've already been through a couple of these, but just in case we haven't already covered, do you mind summarizing some of the changes you want to bring to the current nation?
Well, some of the changes I wanted to bring, and some I'm already putting forward, is primarily I'm looking at the streets of URM, the streets of Purely, and I'm
Mhm.
seeing that they're tattered, they're broken up, they're obviously not well maintained, they're dirty, they have debris, and I see something that is lacking, like a proper maintenance and development unit, if you will. And so I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, how do we fix this?" And so what we came up with was the Engineering Corps of Men, which is a
Mhm.
group of people who essentially split into different ranks, which is like builder, scripter, modeler, etc. And they work to keep Purely and the group um, working
Uh.
better and being more maintained.
Okay. So for the viewers at home,
Um,
how could they, if by chance, how could they be a part of this developing?
well, to start out, I believe ECMEP he had put out
Ah, yes,
an
Eek Meep.
application.
Mm.
Eekmeep, yeah, we'll get to him later. But anyways,
Oh.
the ghost of Eekmeep, if you will,
Oh
he
yeah,
put out an
the
application,
ghost.
and it essentially you can apply to be part of this engineer corps, and you can really, a lot of people talk about how they want to fix URM, and
Mm.
I hear that a lot. But what I don't see is a lot of action. I want to see people that are listening to this interview. I want to see them. I want to see them go to this application. I want to see them put their best foot forward and really try to make a change in URM. That's what I want to see.
Mhm. Okay. Now, moving on to more of the current events. Do you have any plans for change in the current Current Strait War?
In the what war?
The Current Strait War. It's been an ongoing war between, before your presidency, our previous president Scott and the previous leader had declared war, battling over the Kering Strait, which we have covered previously on this channel. Do you have any
Well,
changes that you would like to bring there?
give me a reminder. This carrying straight you're talking about. I mean, U.R.M. they defunded the education program, so forgive me if I don't know
Yes.
too much.
Yes.
Um, but remind me, what is the importance of this carrying
So the
straight to
Kering
us
Strait, the
as
Kering Strait was a cargo, mainly territorial, as of transport of cargo personnel. And I don't remember exactly who started it. Maybe our viewers will be able to remember at home. But someone did something, and I'm not really able to shine that much light onto it because of, well, this is a neutral news source. But so far, we've only had one actual contact, but we never officially declared a ceasefire or peace. Nor have contact deals gone into place to stop these fights. So, as the current president, what do you plan to do?
Well, here's the thing. I see a lot of problems with, URM goes into a lot of these proxy wars. You have issues with the Kering Strait and other places like Vietnam, and just like we're sending our troops to these countries in the middle of nowhere. These people who just happen to be dragged into these wars. These
Mm-hmm.
people are farmers and citizens and people who truly just want to see their country thrive. But they're being dragged into these wars by nations such as the TRCU. These
Mm-hmm.
big giant, powerful nations that drag them in and they say, you help us fight or you're gonna die. Right? That's essentially what they say to them. And so what
Mm-hmm.
ends up happening is we go to war with these proxy countries, if you will. They're proxy wars, is what they are. So
Uh-huh.
what I say is we need to be spending less time trying to tear down a tree by cutting off its branches. We need to get to the roots of the problem, and the roots of the problem are within TRCU. So if we
So,
get there,
hmm,
we start fighting boots on the ground with TRCU, then I think this tree will tumble over and capitalism will win.
President Liodite, are you stating here, live on air, that you plan to have boots on the ground inside the TRCU by 1975? Is that what you're saying right now?
1975, call it 1972. I say we start going to war with them immediately because again, the truth is, you ever try to take down a tree?
I'm sorry, what?
You ever try to chop down a tree, mister? I don't know. All I'm
No,
saying is
no, yeah.
you don't take down a tree by cutting off its branches. You'll get rid of a part of it. It's going to hurt it. That's for sure. But you take down a tree by the roots, by the stump, right? So you need to start with the primary problem. And then if issues come after that, then you can deal with that. But you need to be fighting against the primary problem first.
Hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Alright, well, that's very. Oh. Okay. Sorry, drinking my water here. My throat's a bit. Okay.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
So, alright. Alright. Okay. Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
Listen, I'll clarify. I'm not saying we are going to war because
Yeah.
I know the press. They like to spin my words. They like to say they're because tomorrow if I say that they're going to be like Liodite declares war. That's not what's happening. I'm
Okay.
saying we need to really look at how we are going about geopolitics and take another look at it because I think the previous administrations they were just going about it the whole wrong way and they were just getting hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of troops are dead
Mm-hmm.
because we are trying to we're trying to take down this tree the wrong way, and that's the problem.
Uh huh. Okay. Hmm. All right. Moving on. You mentioned this earlier. Obviously, everyone knows it. Vietnam, the war we shouldn't even be fighting. Do you have any plans for that? Do you plan to pull troops out, put more troops in? I mean, based off your previous statements, I'm guessing you want to pull troops out. But what do you want to happen?
Well, I think we have to be delicate about it because to pull troops out of a nation vigorously and uh, not carefully at all is going to be a problem. Like I think the last guy, I don't know what his name was,
Stop.
chocolate chip or something. He tried to take all the troops out at once, and that was just
Hmm.
it was a disaster. I mean,
Yes, I
we were
remember
trying
that.
to get our
Yeah.
troops out of there, and the Viet Minh people they were trying to grab onto our planes and come with it. Like it was just a whole
Uh,
issue, right?
yeah, I
Um,
remember that. Yeah.
so what I say is we need to have a delicate process of getting those troops out of there. We will get them out of there, but not all at once, because if you do that, it becomes a giant mess and a giant problem. And what we're going to do is slowly transfer our knowledge to the South Vietnam army,
Uh
and
huh.
we'll have them fight the Vietnamese people. And then hopefully we can win the war by having them fight their own war instead of us fighting a war for them.
Uh huh. All right. So, what do I have to say? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
That is a good idea, but wouldn't this be giving the illusion to the Revolutionary Computer Union that you're just giving up? What can you do to show that you're not actually pulling back, but you're still helping?
Well, like I said, I mean, I don't really want to see more people. Like these are our citizens, our troops that are
Yes, our
dying out
men,
there.
our
I
patriots.
don't I don't think anybody wants to see that, right? And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you do because you could do it the perfect way. You could win the war for God's sakes. But the TRCU, they're a propaganda machine. They'll take anything they see and they'll spin it one way or another to make it look like they won. As someone once said,
Hello?
even if the TRC wins that war, if they think they did, if they didn't, they're still going to say they did because it's good for their propaganda machine. The thing over here in
Yes.
the U.R.M. is we have a free press and we're a free country and
Liberty
news
Media,
is
yes. I remember, I
it's free.
remember. Operation what was the first? What was our first boots on the ground in Vietnam? It was Operation Rolling Thunder, I think. Rolling Thunder. Yes,
Right.
we had won, but they had released newspapers saying that they won and they had actually beat us. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I mean it's even an example like we see communist insurrectionists in our own country. Like we had
Yes.
violent protesters. They were rioting. These evil
Yes.
people that were
We
trying to
will
overthrow our government the
cover
other
we'll
day.
cover that in a bit. But
We'll get to okay, okay.
yeah.
But I will say this is what I'm going to say. I don't think it's worth trying to negotiate with terrorists, and we can try to prove to the TRCU we won, but it doesn't matter because someone once said it is difficult to win an argument with a smart person. It is impossible to win an argument with a stupid person.
Wow,
So
shots
it's just not
fired.
worth trying to prove to them that we won the war because we already know that.
All right. Well, that's very insightful. Moving on to our next topic, you had just mentioned insurrections and protests outside of the inauguration and the visits. I have been speaking to some of these people in the quote the man movement and also from another party that shall not be named. They are
Mhm.
not computerist. Moreover, they are. Oh, sorry, hit my mic there. Whoops. They are moreover patriots that don't really see your plans clearly. Some of these include, quote, your super orders, the abolishing of Congress, which I believe got appealed, and multiple others. So, can you shed some light on these? Why do you believe that these orders should be kept in place?
Well, let's target the first problem. I mean, I know you're a very neutral guy. I don't
Yes.
expect you to come on here and lie to me, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I'm saying is when you see a repeated pattern of something happening, and what I'm seeing is these insurrectionist groups, these violent rioters, they have every right to peaceful riot. They have every right to protest. That is still within their constitution. That's their rights
Uh
and they
huh.
have that. What they're doing is they're taking guns and planes and bombs and things that they should not be taking
Attempts
and
on your
trying to
life.
attack
Yeah.
our uh, what?
Attempts on your life. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. Right,
Yes.
right.
I
So
saw the
they're trying
video.
to do that, but they're not being peaceful about it, obviously, and that's been very clearly defined. And so I bring this back to the TRCU because we we had made it very clear that we won, if you will, like we won against the rioters because
Uh-huh.
they tried to attack us and they lost. This is definitive. This was confirmed by Mills himself. He said we had won. Yet these insurrectionists, what they did is they went to their propaganda, they went to their press, their printing press, and they said, "Well, actually, we won. It doesn't matter that Mills already confirmed we won." And I see the same thing with TRCU, where they take a story, they spin it to make it look like they're the victors all the time. And I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying that the man movement is full of communists, but I'm just saying if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you trying to say they both support some sort of computerism ideals, or?
Well, all I'm saying is I'm not going to name names here, but I'm not going to name names here, but people like that came from the TRCU and they come into our democracy and they say they want freedom, they want to immigrate here, and that's fine. That's within their rights. They're allowed to do that. But then they start pushing these ideas. They say it's democracy, but to me, it looks like computerism because, again, it's just pushing the same values of this computerism and just calling it something else,
Uh-huh.
right? And I worry because what I'm seeing is people who are coming from communist countries, they're coming to our capitalist countries and they're pushing the same ideals that caused the problems in the communist
Well, sir,
countries in the
sir,
first place.
if I may interject, a
Sure.
majority of the leaders inside the man movement have not immigrated from other countries, but moreover, they are actually very, how do I say this, well known within the community before your election. And moreover, they've
Right.
shown public disdain from releasing articles. I mean, I've mentioned on here. I mean, apologies, but in the past I did mention on here the controversy that went down in the CMIA, which, by the way, I'm happy to announce has been resolved internally. And moreover, their movements with the assassination attempts, that one confirmation I believe they sent video of, and just much else. So, moving away from that, I understand where you're coming from. But what do you have to say about the super orders? What's your purpose behind them?
Well, I think what it's difficult to look at a country. The people of U.R.M. they feel like they're being personally attacked because I'm someone who came along and I said I'm going to do ABC. And when I came into office, I started doing ABC. And I may have not done it the typical. One second, I gotta drink water. I'm like dying
Of
here.
course,
Hold
yeah.
on.
I got a
One
water
moment.
right here, man. I got my trusty um unbranded water from the well. It tastes like
Excellent.
lead,
All
but
right, I
that's
think we're good.
okay. Yeah. All right.
Um,
Continue.
but yeah. So as I was saying, it I can definitely feel what the citizens of URM are feeling right now because they have for so long been tricked by a system that it's like the illusion of choice. Like they're given 100 different flavors of soda, 100 different flavors of coffee, 100 different flavors of everything. But when it comes to the people that they elect that actually make the changes in their country, they're given, you know, whoever is going to keep the status quo. Like it may, they'll give you a hero once in a while, someone who like looks like they're going to fix things. But the difference between that and me is that I actually came along and started fixing things. And again, I may have not done it through the most, typical way, but the difference is I'm actually making these changes. Like we're doing reforms, we're fixing departments, we're bringing back development, we're doing things that are actually going to help URM in the long run. And
Uh huh.
back to the point I was saying, it can definitely be difficult to be a citizen of the URM and see me doing these things like super orders because you think that I'm coming after the rights of the people. I'm not going after the rights of the people. I'm going after these politicians and these people who have been here for so long that have been lying to the URM public and saying, "We're the good guys. Vote for us. We own every media entity. We own every form of media that you consume. Yet we're the good guys and we're going to tell you this 100 times over.
Sir,
So when
sir,
someone comes along,
if I may interject, sir,
yeah, sure, sure.
I
Yeah.
just want to let you know, Liberty Media, I get you're referencing like some of the stuff, but I may remind you, Liberty Media or any former employees who would work there, they're not producing it through there. They're producing it from other more small independent sources of media. Just wanted to clear that up for you.
Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify.
Oh, my
So
mistake. My
Vlad,
mistake.
one of the
Oh, name
electees for
drop.
the
Wow.
former election,
Yes.
he had a hand in Liberty Media, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And
He.
why is it that these
Oh.
people that that essentially push out the biggest news station to the people, why are they allowed to be doing that as well as running for president? That doesn't seem fair at all to me.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, what do you
some
think?
people could have their cake and run for president, man. I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
the people the people that announce the polls, that announce the decision of who becomes the president, shouldn't also be the people running for president.
Uh
That
huh.
doesn't seem fair at all.
You're suggesting they should be a third-party source and/or group.
I'm saying they should be independent. They should be not tied to the government
Uh huh.
if they're going to be doing something that's so heavily government aligned.
Hmm. But shouldn't they be put into government so that way they have authority and to be able to actually be able to? I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the words for these. I'm very dehydrated. It is hot in here in the studio. But wouldn't it be better to just have it with moreover, a well-trusted member of the government? I'm not talking about the president or anyone in the cabinet. For example, an admin or well, the actual founder of the group Mills. Wouldn't it be better to have someone like that do it?
Like what do you mean? Like announce the election?
Yes, to host the election and the polls.
I think that would be a good thing. But again, it's like if you like I agree with that. I think somebody who's actually like a separate entity that's not part of the news organization should be announcing the polls. I think that would be a good
Mhm.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. All right.
Um, but the problem is, it's when like you have people in the government who are doing two things at once. I think it was Manald Reagan, if that's his name or whatever. He once said, I think it's the nine scariest words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." And so, what I worry about is should the people running the system, should the people upholding the system and allowing these bad things to happen, should they be the ones announcing who decides the future of that system? Or should we have someone independent from the government be the ones to announce these things? You know what I mean? Or have some sort of like check system, making sure things are like a
Checks and
watchdog.
balances. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of understand where you're coming from. That kind of makes sense with your previous super orders with the shrinkage, the Congress and other movements inside the government for checks and balances. Yes. Okay, well that's been very insightful. Now, moving on to our final question for the night. Is there anything you would like to say to our enemies in the TRCU? Moreover, 90 GQ29 um former leader Sev's, well, actually not Sev's, Voids, I'm sorry, God rest Voids, blown up in a terrorist attack. Moreover, what would you like to say to the TRCU? I'm sorry, what would you like to say to them?
Well, I'll say this, you wanna fight our troops, you have to I mean, I think you forget that the URM is a very powerful entity. We have a lot of manpower, and I think they forget that. I mean, the tax dollars got to go somewhere, right? And so let me say this to the TRCU: if you're religious, you're not going to believe in a god after we're done. So be afraid
Jesus
and be scared.
Christ! Wow, that's wow. Okay. Well, I think we have covered everything here tonight. President Liodite, it has been a treat to have you on with us tonight here with live with Bob Mistrovich. And I would like to thank the viewers at home for tuning in to this little Q&A we have. Hopefully we'll meet up again in the future, President Liodite. Maybe under some more lighter circumstances. Maybe talking about peace duels. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah, let's just have your presidency, your candidacy, your overall administration ride out, and we'll see what happens. Mr. Liodite, thank you for coming on the show. I'm gonna let
Thank
you
you for
go
having me
now.
on.
No problem. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
All right. See ya. Bye bye.
See ya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of tonight's episode live with Bob Mistrovich. Stay tuned for our next one, where hopefully we could get someone else on the phone. I'm Bob Mistrovich, and this is goodbye.